What's good, Plum Borough? I'm Drew Bartow.
And I'm Mike Devine.
And together we are Sour Plums. We aim to entertain and educate more than 3 Plum residents by debating some of the trending topics in the borough, from school board and council happenings to business openings, conspiracy theories, and everything in between. Mike will introduce himself in a moment, but first, I have some words. I don't speak for Mike, and Mike doesn't speak for me. In fact, we have many opposing political views. He's on the right, I'm in the right, and he didn't know I was going to say that. We do, however, share a passion for giving back to this community and making it the best possible place to raise our kids. We talk the talk and walk the walk. Now, back in 2020, a vocal minority lost their damn minds and began actively seeking to destroy this town one temper tantrum at a time. An instigator who runs a one-sided school board Facebook page used an account under the name Romeo Gamble to message me and wish harm upon my family because I refused to let him post racist ramblings in my private Facebook group. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? That's Shakespeare, baby boy. A faction of parents used an unprecedented pandemic and the subsequent response from the school district as an excuse to share school board members' addresses on social media. They called it parents' choice. I call it performative and disgusting. Some folks, way too many, then rallied around and voted in an embarrassingly unproductive school board member whose woe is me Facebook rants have grown more stale by the month, not to mention damn near impossible to read. In the most recent school board election, this cult of self-described nonconformists contributed 2 of the most outrageous and dangerous candidates this town could have ever produced. One's prior criminal convictions led to his removal from the ballot. The town narrowly escaped electing the other candidate by about 140 votes. 'Twas a bad night for Moms for Liberty, but a great night for dads with intelligence. Our community deserves so much better than those kinds of candidates, regardless of political affiliation. The problem with this vocal minority is just that. They're vocal. We cannot continue to allow these voices to go unchecked. That's where Sour Plums comes in. We're going to provide our Plum neighbors with an intelligent and entertaining alternative to the whiny ramblings of the grifters and the groaners who do most of the talking, but very little of the walking. Mike and I won't always agree, but we're going to have a lot of fun with some actual substance. We welcome your feedback and suggestions for topics on our Sour Plums Facebook page. A sincere thank you for joining us today. All right, you want to introduce yourself to the crowd?
Sure. My introduction is not going to be as long as yours was, but I am Mike Devine. I am a former 2 months removed school board member. So I have a little insight into the political happenings around Plum, how things work, how they should work, what's actually happening. So I'm happy to add my perspective to our different views here.
I mentioned I'm Drew Bartow. I have 3 kids in the district. I'm very passionate about making sure that the people who are trying to run the district and run the town have their best interests in mind, my children's best interests in mind, not just their own. So we're very passionate. You'll find Mike and I are both, I think we're both lovable and we're both hateable. I think people would agree with that.
I think I found a lot of people that both love and hate me over the last 4 years, but that's exactly why I got into the school board. When I ran, I tell people all the time, you can sit there and complain, but unless you're willing to step up and do something, kind of keep quiet, stay in the background. But my 3 kids are the reason I ran for school board. We did a lot of good things. Some of those things met with controversy, some weren't. And the one thing I'll say, every decision I made, I looked at it from a different perspective. I told people, when you tell me what you want for your kids, you have your kids' best interest in mind. I did my best to keep my kids separate from that and keep 3,500 kids' best interest in mind. And it's not always an easy thing to do.
No, and I, honestly, I felt like you did, like I said at the beginning, we're not necessarily on the same political sides on everything, but I felt that that's how you handled it. And let's just let everybody know, how many times have we truly hung out before recording this episode tonight?
I think this is the first time, actually.
We're pulling this together. We're bringing sides together here. I think I've seen you in the gym maybe a half dozen times when our kids are playing basketball, but that's it. So we're trying something new. We're making a connection tonight, and we're gonna bring you some fun tonight. So, Mike, you want to start with the first segment?
Yeah, actually, could I throw one more thing in there? So this podcast, it was kind of an omen to me to do this. So whenever I know a lot of people know the name Sean Marcelino, him and I talked about getting a podcast started probably like the year and a half before he passed away. We talked about getting one done to the point where we actually bought a lot of the equipment to get ready to do it. And the day I saw your post on Facebook, and then Mike Caligieri texted me that you were doing this. As I was sitting there looking at Facebook, I looked up, and the Amazon photos on my screensaver for my Fire Stick was the picture of me and Sean with the equipment in my kitchen. So I was like, this is meant to be.
Well, I met Sean one time at a mutual friend's house, and I was really quick to see why he was so liked. And so I hope we can do do him proud on this podcast. I'm glad you're getting the opportunity to finally do what you wanted to do with him. So hopefully I can fill those shoes at least halfway, and we'll do what we can do. All right.
All right, sounds good. All right, first segment here is Plum problems. So one of the things we're going to try and do is kind of keep a pulse on what's going on in Plum, what's getting people fired up, which some days seems like a lot of different things. I'm going to do my best to keep tabs on things because, as you may or may not know, I am banned from one of our Facebook pages for life. Apparently, people did not like that. I tried to get business for Mario Francesco, who is a jack of all trades. So the first one we're going to talk about, this is from a few weeks ago, snow days and asynchronous versus synchronous learning.
I talked to my son about this only because I wanted to get a perspective from a student. Now he's fairly self-sufficient and he prefers the asynchronous days, but I could see why, a student who needs more structure might not be as effective with that, or parents working from home are going to be bothered on, every 20 minutes, every half hour. So while me personally, because of my situation, I work from home and my kids are pretty self-sufficient and from that perspective, and they're good with that structure, asynchronous works for us. However, I think synchronous can work for those parents that are busy working. They don't want to be bothered all the time. You can put them in front of a computer screen. The teachers can teach like they're teaching throughout the day. I'd be interested to get a perspective from a teacher. I haven't asked the teacher on that yet, what they prefer. Do they prefer to answer emails all day long from all the parents and students because they can't figure stuff out, or they prefer to be in front of them and actually giving a lecture like they would be on a normal school day? So I see the merit in synchronous. I will say this, though, Mike, the problem I have with the debate on this subject, and really the debate in Plum in general on anything, every parent kind of thinks that their situation is unique, and you should, as you know from being on the school board, you should solve their individual problem first and foremost. You've got 3,500 students or whatever it may be that you've got to solve this for, and all these parents. How do you really? And you can maybe talk about the inside of it and what your belief on it is. You can't make everybody happy. I think you've got to make the majority happy, right?
Backing up a little bit, these synchronous and asynchronous days are new back to 2020. Yeah. When COVID happened, it kind of forced us into a situation where we bought Chromebooks for everybody, because I think at that time they started in second grade. So we got them equipped for kindergarten and first grade. And what it allowed us to do was when we had to shut the schools down, especially the first 9 weeks of COVID was the last 9 weeks of the school year that year. And so we got everybody Chromebooks and had to kind of scramble to figure things out. And what it allowed us to do was continue to have education in a very non-traditional way, but still have those days. The kids definitely fell behind, not just in Plum, across the country. But that's when it kind of allowed us to start applying for these FID days, flexible instruction days. The state has to approve so many, and maybe that it's changed this year. I don't know offhand. To have those flexible instruction days, you get so many before you have to actually start taking real snow days. And so the district builds a few in, and they also actually build in now. I think we go 182 days, where the state minimum is 180. So we can actually have the flexible instruction days, and then even have 2 days where we don't make up if they're a real snow day. But like you said, it's different for every family, but no family is out on their own with how they have to deal with things. So your kids are older.
14, 10, and 6. So the six takes a lot. Those asynchronous days, the 6-year-old takes a lot of hand holding.
So my kids are 5. One just turned 9 last week, and one will be 11 in 4 days. So the 11-year-old can easily sit there at home by herself and do her work. I can't leave the 9-year-old home by herself. The 5-year-old absolutely can't be here by himself. So the asynchronous allows for that kind of thing, and not do in real time, but do within a reasonable amount of time to get credit for the day. When you look at high school, they can sit there in front of a computer and learn. They're 14, 15, up to 18 years old. If you have a regular snow day, as a parent with young kids, you need to find somebody to watch your kids regardless. Yeah. Usually it's grandma. For us, it's grandma. I can't have my mother-in-law or my mom go online and expect to be able to get them into a Google Classroom, on a Zoom meeting, that kind of thing, to learn throughout the day. We can do that when we get home, like it's homework. And that's all it should be. It's a snow day still. Like the kids should still have snow days. Go outside and build a snowman.
I could go either way with that, Mike. I really could. It doesn't, I work from home, so I'm available, but I have meetings, I have things like that I can't just be interrupted with. So from that asynchronous perspective, I can kind of, if they get something done and I'm not around, my door's closed in my office, they can just take a break, have a snow day, and then we'll get back to it, that kind of thing. So it works for me. So I was going to have this segment next, Mike, called Good in the Hood. Have a guest on the show to join us and talk about some good they're doing in the neighborhood. I really wanted to have a representative from Plum Inside Scoop on, specifically Jimmy McBride. However, immediately upon opening our Facebook page, he had to hop on there and ask a really dumb question, as he is known to do. So I decided, you know what, I wouldn't invite him this time. I'll make him wait. But I kind of want to explain the segment just so people can submit something on Facebook. Any individual, business, organization that's doing good in Plum, helping others, raising money, whatever it may be, give them a shout out on our page, on our Sour Plums podcast page. And again, we're looking for guests. We want to have guests on the show to add more voices to this podcast than just ours. So,
and if we wait another show or two or 5 or 6 to bring Jimmy on, people may not know the answer to the question, what if it rains?
They might not know. They might have forgotten. However, he likes to remind people.
But, speaking of Jimmy, we're recording in my basement. I have to ask you this. Did you happen to take Malabar to get here?
I did not take Malabar to get here. It's open, though, isn't it?
Because of Jimmy, it's open. You could have taken it to get here. So,
well, thank you, Jimmy. Sorry we couldn't have you on tonight, but ask fewer stupid questions and we'll get you on. All right, Mike, I know you have another segment here that you're kind of chomping at the bit to get to, and I really like this one. So let's get to it.
All right, so this is Would You Rather, and what we'll do is I'll pose a question, an either or kind of question, and we can kind of talk through what the answer is. And this one is going to hit near and dear to Plum, all of you Plum residents. And Drew, would you rather have another Dollar General or another car wash in Plum?
Well, as anybody listening who followed along on our Facebook page knows, I put a poll up there asking how many times they wash their car on average. And I think the number one answer was quarterly. To me, another car wash is like another mattress store. Like how many do we need? I'll give you that the Dollar General is the same way. I don't mind a business that's selling things at a lower price point for the entire community. Maybe it frees up some money for those individuals to give back to the fundraisers in town or other local businesses, whatever it may be. I could probably agree with the person who says they don't need a Dollar General on every field popping up. I think we've probably got enough in Plum. However, we definitely have enough car washes. The business model for a car wash is like the unused gift cards. People they want you to buy the monthly membership and underuse it so that money goes right into their pocket. That's the business model for a lot of these car washes that are popping up. And I'm not a huge fan of that, but what do you think?
So here's what I'll say. Dollar General, although there are several in Plum and potentially another one coming, they've done it right. There's one on each side of Plum. There's one right here by my house. There's one on 286. The car washes, we have 2 or 3 on 286. So either way, I'm driving all the way to 286. And shameless plug here, we don't have any sponsors yet. So if any of the car washes want to sponsor us, we will be a pro car wash podcast for that particular car wash. But I'm going to go with secret option number 3. I'd like another gas station in Plum. We only have 3, and they're on opposite ends of the borough as well. But if I had to pick between a Dollar General and a car wash, I would put a caveat and say I'd like a car wash on this side of Plum.
A car wash on your side of Plum. Again, self-serving. Okay. But I think that's part of the problem with Plum as a whole. It's a large community, a large landmass, but we've got this like really small business district on one street. That's about it. That's actually technically Plum. I'm sure you're aware we are getting a new Sheets, but we're just replacing an old Sheets. So it's not an addition.
We're moving a Sheets.
We're moving Sheets 500 yards down the road.
So we have gained and lost no more Sheets, but we are moving Sheets, and it will be bigger. So that's good.
It's not going to have a car wash, is it? I don't think it's big enough, but damn, that'd be another one. Mike, this is a great question because this is the kind of stuff that people in Plum argue about all over. All over. And they're just everybody, this better than me even. Everybody is so convinced that they're right. They're just freaking mean to each other, right? They're just, but they're just dicks. and I've been known to be one here and there, but I can't find myself getting passionate enough about whether we need another Dollar General or a car wash to go online and like just destroy people.
Here's how I look at it. Either way, it's bringing more money into Plum.
Yeah.
So giddy up. But I will say this. One of the early emails we got when we were on school board, people were talking to both Mike Caligiuri and myself, and they said that I was a dick, but I was a nicer dick than him. So
I mean, that should be on a T-shirt.
yeah.
I'm a nicer dick. I have a T-shirt that says "Don't be a dick." I also have a shirt that says "Be kind." Depends on where I'm going out, which one I wear. All right, Mike. I want to move on to a segment that's near and dear to my heart as a writer and someone who actually does read the comments online. Unfortunately, I don't mind if you're passionate about a topic, passionate about a subject, and you want to say your piece, but at least know what the words mean that you're saying, right? Know the definition, know what they mean. There was a wise man back during campaign season for school board who put out a video to make sure that the public knew and they were informed about a candidate that was running and who he really was. It's no secret that I didn't like this person either, but whoever made that video, brilliant, I thought. What I heard after that was people saying, this is a smear campaign. So I just want to make sure that the public in Plum knows the definition of smear campaign. Generally speaking, it's a plan to discredit a public figure by making false or dubious accusations. I watched those brilliant videos, and none of those things were false accusations. They were taken from his own social media feeds and just put in nice little package for public consumption. And I will say this, I hope after what almost happened this last election, school board election, that more people before they vote actually do some research into the candidates before just voting straight party ticket. It's not beneficial for you to go straight party ticket when you have candidates who are not exactly showing their true selves when they're campaigning. So as long as I'm in this district and my kids are here, I will make sure that the Plum public knows what candidates are really about.
For the most part, the people that show up to Plum, to show up to vote in Plum, are the people who follow everything, and there's not a ton of them, and senior citizens, and that's true across the country. There's very few places where the middle-aged population votes. And at the time I ran the first time, there was a couple hot button topics. It was a perfect storm. I was able to come in. I appealed to both sides, and I got on the Democrat ticket. I'm a Republican, but I got on the Democrat ticket and got through the primary. Once we were through the primary, I was on the ticket as a Democrat, even though I was a Republican. But I said from the beginning, politics have no place on the school board. Right. And I truly believe that. The second time I ran, I tried to do it again. Lost the primaries, I think, by about 100 votes or so, somewhere around there, maybe a few more than that. So I got close, but it's hard. At that point, people had a reason to hate me. Right. They either loved me or they hated me. And one thing I told a lot of people was, we're not going to agree 100% on everything. There's nobody I agree 100% on everything with. But if we can agree on like 80% of the stuff, it's a pretty good number. And in the big stuff, I probably will hopefully represent you when I give my spiel at a meeting and make my vote. But yeah, like when it comes down to it, and you see the school board meetings, I'm sure the council meetings, I can't speak for council as well as I can for school board, but by the time they get out to the meeting, we have some pretty heated debates back in exec session. And, sometimes you get board members coming out screaming at each other for an hour, and it's not PG, I'll tell you that. So what I will say, this is true for all board members that I have worked with, and that's, through two boards, two elections. Everybody was passionate about what they did. Their reasoning for getting to where they were was different, and that's where the arguments came in. And actually, there was a lot of board members. I said, our end game is the same thing. Our paths are just very different to get there, and nobody wanted to have any of that give and take. So, but when you have the parties, the people who are represented by the parties, and I'll be honest, if I run again, I'm going to try and get backing from one of the parties. You have to keep that party happy, but still do the right thing. And there's a fine line to cross there, and you still have to keep those politics out of it. Like when it comes to your kids' education, politics really have no place in it. I think a good mix of school board members are young adults without kids, adults with kids in the district, and then seniors without kids in the district. So you get perspective from everything. And if you're on any of the board or council or any government at all, and you don't want those other perspectives, you really need to think about why you're there.
That's actually I think that's a good topic for a future episode on what should the school board consist of. I think we could have a nice heated PG-13 debate on that. We're going to move on from the next segment, and this is something that's it's going to be a surprise to me because this is all Mike here. Mike has a segment called Blind Ranking. And as I understand it, there's a category involved, and you're going to throw out things within that category, and I've got to rank them blindly without knowing what the next thing is. You want to explain that to me a little more, just so I understand and the audience understands?
So I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a topic. I'm going to give you 5 things in a certain order, so you have no idea what's coming next, but you have to rank them 1 to 5 without knowing what's coming next.
That sounds hard. All right, let's do it.
All right, so we are 4 days removed. We're recording on Thursday night. We're 4 days removed from the Super Bowl. So we will go with Super Bowl halftime shows. So I have 5 written down here. I'll give them to you. Not knowing what's coming next, you're going to put them in order. We will start with Lady Gaga.
I don't know where you're going after that. It's just going to be, you know what? I want to play this safe. I'm going to go with 3. I'm going to put it right in the middle to be safe, so I have some room on either side. Personally, Lady Gaga, music's fine to me. Maybe it's not my 40-year-old man demographic, but it's fine. And I think that's a really good act for the Super Bowl because she's relevant, right? And she's relevant to a lot of different ages. So I'll go 3. All
right. I can't argue with that rationale or anything else. So that's what the 40-year-old in you says. So let's go back to your 20s, and we'll go with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake.
Oh, that has so much around it. Was I in my 20s then, or was I younger? I don't remember. That was so scandalous.
I was in my late 20s, so
I was getting out of college then. Yeah, I don't care for the act as music, but for the shock value, I still got to go 4. I don't care for the act. I mean, I will never forget it. I mean, probably the most memorable. That would be number 1, but I'll give it 4 as far as an act.
All right, so you have 3 and 4.
By the way, the act was the nipple. In case our audience didn't remember Janet Jackson nipple being on on TV and Justin Timberlake being responsible for that.
It was a wardrobe malfunction.
Yes.
As he ripped it off of her chest. All right, the next one is Prince.
I got to say, I've never been a huge Prince fan, but I certainly understand the impact he had on the music industry. And I know there's a lot of people that love Prince. Oh shit, I'm stuck. I can't go 5. There's no way he's 5. I got to go 2. I'm really interested in what these next 2 are. I might have really screwed myself here.
Well, the next one, Snoop, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, number 1. That was great. I thought that was the best halftime show I've ever seen. Honestly, like the entire act. It wasn't just them. There was so many more artists in that popped in on that. I thought that was the best halftime show ever. I think anybody in my 35 to 45-year-old range, a lot of people loved that. It kind of took us back to our youth, our teen years, and I think that's by far easily number 1.
So I will say that one as a family man was awesome because Lose Yourself came on, and my 2 girls listened to that song before every game, and they started rocking out to that song. And it was awesome. It was awesome. And my dad looked at me like, "What the hell are we listening to?"
I think it's always like that with the Super Bowl halftimes. Like if you're not that person's fan, it's like, what is this? This is awful.
All right, and the last one, Michael Jackson.
Oh shit! Now I got to go 5. I'll say this to support myself. I don't think that Michael Jackson was. How do I say this? I don't think Michael Jackson was a non-criminal. I think he had some criminal activity that was very disgusting. I would say that. So you know what? I'm kind of happy that he's 5. I think this worked out really well. I think from that perspective, yeah, does Michael Jackson change music? For sure. I mean, he's one of the handful of people that really you can say that about. But his act outside of music, I'm not so sure about that. So I'm cool with that.
I'll say with Michael Jackson, it was the first halftime show I remember.
Really?
Yeah, and it was. I'm not a music guy, so if anytime we talk about music, I tell people all the time I could probably I know all the lyrics to a lot of songs, but I couldn't tell you who sings anything, so I just don't care enough about music. But that Michael Jackson show I thought was so entertaining, and I'm going to give you homework before the next show. Go back and watch the making of that halftime show because the attention to detail he put in was awesome.
I have no doubt it was a great show, but I absolutely have no doubt. So let's not blind to everybody listening. Let's take those same 5. If you're on our podcast page, Sour Plums Podcast on Facebook, rank those for us. See how different we are than what I did. Now, again, remember, I went in with blindly, and I actually really like that.
And just if anybody is going to rank them, just so you know, rain does not impact your rankings. You can go ahead and rank them as they are.
We're speaking right to Jimmy on that one, I believe. All right, Mike, do you have I don't know if this is going to work or not, and we'll find out if it does. If it doesn't, we'll just cut it right out. But hey, we have some voicemails. We have a voicemail phone number, which Mike will remind you of. And I think he's going to play a voicemail or two for us. What do you got, Mike?
All right. So if you want to leave a voicemail, just call us at 412-712-7019. Let us know what's on your mind, any topics you want us to discuss. You can give us a would you rather, or you can give us a blind ranking. We can run through those real quick as well. We actually have 9 voicemails.
9 voicemails, and before our first show.
We're not sure if this is going to work. If it doesn't work, we'll figure it out for next time. But I just want to let you know, one of the voicemails, it's kind of shocked me. He's put himself out there. The Plum Sasquatch left us a voicemail. It's inaudible, so I'm not going to play it because it's just going to be a waste of a minute. But I think he wants to be found.
He wants to be found. Maybe he wants to be a guest on the show.
Yeah, maybe we can get him.
He's like The Gathering, very difficult to find.
All right, so this was the first voicemail. Let's see if this works.
Hi, this is Jim McBride. I have a couple questions. First of all, longtime fan of the show. Love it. You guys are doing great things. Next, what if it rains? How would that affect recording? Is the episode going to be delayed? Will there be an episode? Thanks, guys. Once again, love the show. Can't wait to hear back. Bye.
Now I kind of feel bad for not bringing him on the show. He was our first voicemail.
But he's on the show.
He is on the show. Shit.
And he did ask the question, what if it rains? But my favorite, he's been a fan all along. He's a longtime listener. It's fantastic. So we can answer that question. If it rains, we are filming inside. So the outside elements will have no impact on our recording of our show.
So thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for being our number one fan and for asking that question. We're open to more voicemails as well.
Hi, this is Carly. I was given this number to get a dumpster booked by Mario Francesco. I was told that he's not allowed to be tagged on Facebook anymore because people don't like that. So I was calling this number to get him booked for the job. My basement is overflowing with junk I don't want anymore. And so I need the dumpster to get that cleared out.
All right, before you react to that one, I'm going to play one more.
Hi, this is Dr. Richard Head, but you can call me Dick. I was given this number as a way to reach Mario Francesco. I was told that it's the only way to reach him because Facebook does not allow it anymore. Honestly, I feel bad for Mario. All those extra jobs he had with the help of Facebook, and it had to end, and I'm not sure if he's even able to feed his wife and kids anymore.
So I think we can let it slide this time to get Mario some business, but unless Mario wants to be a sponsor of the podcast, I don't think we can keep giving him free business ads like that. So this is not a line to call to get Mario Francesco booked. We will pass these two along to him, but you need to find him on your own, send him your own personal DMs going forward.
While we're looking for sponsors, I just want to let everybody know what I'm drinking tonight, just in case there's any IPA fans out there. I'm drinking the Hazadelic juice grenade from Grist House, not a sponsor. I purchased it from Salute Beer Distributor, not a sponsor, but we are open to sponsors if you'd like to be mentioned more than once on the episode.
We actually got another real one, so I'll play this one because I think this can set us up for a future episode.
Hi, Sour Plums. My name is Anita Mann, and my question for you is this. Will you consider rebroadcasting your show on Channel 23 for those of us who don't have internet access? Thank you. I'll wait for your response.
She sounded fairly old.
No, she is not. But here's what I'll say. We have no deal with Channel 23.
Not yet.
Not yet. If they want to sponsor us,
yes,
we could be a pro Channel 23 podcast then. But until then, if they don't have internet access, they're not going to hear this answer anyway. But if you do not have internet access and you want a transcript, let Mario Francesco know. He'll type it up for you.
He's a busy man, from what I understand.
Yeah, I think he sleeps 2 hours a night.
Wow. So, Mike, I'm going to go to a segment that we would normally have. If you have something here, let me know. But I want to let this out to our audience that we're going to have some Plum shout outs. Individuals, groups, or businesses, anybody in the community that's doing something good, maybe sports teams that you want to give a shout out to that are performing at a high level, maybe academic achievements that we want to give shout outs to. Throw us a line on Facebook and we will, or by voicemail even, and we'll get those shout outs out. Do you have anybody this week?
I do. I have 2 shout outs this week. So everybody knows, I'm sure everybody saw the part of the reason for the big tax hike we just had is the new borough building. But I do want to give a shout out to the borough building because one, the gym that they put in is actually a really nice gym. It's a really nice space. My daughter practices there once a week. Actually, both my daughters practice there once a week. It's a great facility, and they actually are hosting 2 open gyms. One is for pickleball. In the coming weekend, they have a flyer up. I didn't write the dates down, and then they have a youth basketball all day set aside for youth basketball. Just go in. They have it segmented by grades.
I have heard the gym's nice too. Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a really nice space. I mean, the whole building is beautiful. It's something that some people will tell you we didn't need, but I really do think we did need it. And it's state of the art all around. And I don't think there's any borough or municipality around us that has a building that nice. So I'm a huge fan of that building. The other thing is my world consists mostly of youth sports, but our Lady Mustang basketball team is in the playoffs. They are the 8th seed. If they win, they have a tough road to get to the finals. They have to go through Oakland Catholic. But good luck to the Lady Mustangs. We had a 1,000-point scorer this year, Megan Marston, who did it. This was kind of crazy. I don't know how many years apart, but it was one day after the anniversary of her mom getting 1,000 points.
Really?
We were at the game. It was pretty cool. So congratulations to her and the Mustangs, and good luck in the playoffs.
Yeah, congratulations to Megan and the Lady Mustangs, and hopefully they have some success in the playoffs. So again, stuff like that, it's exactly what we're talking about. Shout outs for just things that are good happening in the community. Let us know, and we'll do it rain or shine, right?
Absolutely. Rain will not affect us.
All right, Mike. I had an opening there where I talked for a little bit too long without you. So I think the fair thing for me to do is to give you the final word here.
Yeah, I think going forward, these will be a little more put together for myself. I'll have something written down, or at least an outline to look at. But I think Drew and I both have an idea in our head of what this podcast is going to be. And I think people who hopefully tune in and listen have an idea of what they expect it to be. And I don't think we really know what it's going to be until we get a few episodes in. I was kind of nervous going into this, but once we started talking, it just was kind of natural. Things are happening pretty well. So I was pretty excited about the flow of things. Hopefully you listened. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You were entertained. You were educated. Just keep giving us a chance. I think if we hit 4 listeners, then we're already doing better than some other things in Plum that only have 2 or 3 people at a time. But our goal is to hopefully to be the Plum podcast. So as things pick up, this show will evolve organically into what it's going to be. And I think the show's going to let us know what it's going to be. So stick with us for however long we could do this. As long as we have listeners, I think we'll keep doing it. And I'm really excited to be doing this, and I'm having a lot of fun in just our first episode. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in and gave us a listen.
All right. Thanks, Mike. And thank you for listening to Sour Plums. You can like this episode and subscribe on whatever platform you prefer. SoundCloud is where we're going to host these episodes first and foremost, but then we're also going to get those out onto Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well, among others in the future. Obviously you can share this on your Facebook page, share wherever you listen to your podcast. Mike, you got anything else to say? I know you said the final word there, but really appreciate you joining me tonight. I hope this is what you thought it'd be. Again, I think as we get into this more, we're going to find that we have even better flow, but I thought we had a good one tonight.
No, I had a great time, and the one thing I didn't mention was what I'm drinking tonight. So I have a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 mixed with a splash of Coke just to take the bite away, and it's my drink of choice right now.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. We are Sour Plums, and we're out.
Thank you.